Yesterday, we talked about whether the Eagles are just lucky or not. And the consensus was they're not lucky, they're good. But today, the question is it okay? Is it better that the Eagles are constantly overlooked? Is it is it better that they're constantly the underdog? How long can that underdog mentality last? We got that. We got power rankings. Justin Crosby coming up at 9, talking Sixers, trending in the AM. Your thoughts and opinions were live, cold, but live in 30 seconds.
Fourth and goal.
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're cold and live here on this Wednesday morning here at the end of November. I am your host, Phil Stiefel. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, subscribe button. It is free to do it. Does not cost you a thing. It costs you to get me to take the hoodie off, but it doesn't cost you a thing to hit like, share, subscribe. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever. If I'm there, you can find me at Bearded Knowledge. I hope everyone's having a great day. And we got lots to talk about today. Lots on the agenda. Every day's value when I'm behind the microphone. Absolutely. Day late, dollar short, brother. I'm not late. I'm on time. I'm exactly the time I want it to be. That's all. Good morning, Zeke. Zach. I always want to say Zeke. How you doing? Premature preset. What? I don't even know what you're doing. Man Chatter's already rumbling this morning. Thinks he is Eminem. Hey, Eminem. If I could be half the man Eminem is, I'd be a rich man. So today, on our agenda today, spent a lot of time talking about the Eagles and how lucky or unlucky they are. To be where they're at this point this season, 10-1. Are they the worst 10-1 team of all time? That was the conversation yesterday. The title of today's show, though, is a little different narrative on it. Is it better that the Eagles are constantly overlooked? Is it better that they're constantly the underdog? And I want to get into that today. Whether, being constantly overlooked is the right thing. We do have my man Justin Crosby join us at 9 a.m. We're going to talk a little Sixers. We got my power rankings updated for this week. We'll get into them in a little bit. Some other news and notes that I've got on my notes that we didn't get to yesterday. But I really want to start with that simple question. Is it better that they're overlooked? Do we not want them to get the respect they deserve? How much longer can the narrative of the underdog mentality, the dog, how much longer can that even work? Like, how much more bulletin board material does this team really need? And I think at some point, that philosophy runs its course. It's time for the narrative to change on this team so that they can have something else. You know, they know they got a target on their back, but they got a target on the back because no one believes in them. Look, we got the 49ers coming to town this week. The San Francisco 49ers have 3 losses on the season, but everyone's predicting them to be the top team. Everybody's predicting them to win this week. Everybody says they have the odd book says they're the best team that get to win the Super Bowl this year. They haven't beaten anybody. I've been looking at their schedule. I've been starting my prep on the 49ers. How much longer can underdog mentality last? 25 degrees in Buffalo. It was 21 on my phone when I woke up at 6:30 here, and that wasn't the wind chill. That was just the temperature. It is cold everywhere in the United States right now. Where is the core? The core's here. Don't you worry. Phil's look. When you have a live stream at 8 a.m., but you have to wrap out, dude. I hate the cold. A side question: we keep the air conditioning in the summer at 72, 73, but in the wintertime we keep the heat at 62. Make that make sense? I hate the cold. Corey's here, just not as chatty. Yeah, they're just not spamming the comments. That's all right. Will Smith, good morning, my man. Cold as you know what is right. Absolutely. We got reinforcements coming in. Everybody's always here. Don't worry, man, chatter. They're not missing you. They would never miss it unless they had a reason to. I thought Stripes would be more funny. It's a boomer coming of age movie. Oh, no. No rocking. No slander on Stripes, my man. That is not the topic of today anyway. If you want to talk Stripes, and I'm going to talk Phillies. I'll just say that. If you want to really get into crushing Stripes, then we'll talk Flyers. Okay? I dare you to talk poorly about Stripes. We're talking football. We're talking the Eagles instead here. But really, like at some point, don't the Eagles? I can't wear this anymore. I got to take that off. Don't the Eagles need to get respected? Don't they need that little like tip of the cap that yeah, you guys are really good, like a little validation? Don't they need at some point that validation so that they know, yeah, what we're doing works. People see what we work. We were underdogs in 17 ever since Wentz went down, and we took it all the way to a chip. Yeah, I get that. We've been the underdogs, literally, like Martian said, since 17. This Eagles organization, through multiple regimes, have been underdogs, multiple quarterbacks, multiple situations. At what point does the respect start to come through? Hell, at what point does the respect just on Howie Roseman start to show up nationwide? You still got. I saw somebody yesterday, a national media guy, a national reporter, national guy on TV all the time, have Jalen Hurts as his number 7 ranked quarterback in the NFL at this moment. You got Emmanuel Ocho doing a whole segment on his show yesterday talking about, about how Jalen Hurts wins. Yeah, great, but he doesn't do it. He doesn't look the part. Like, as I'm saying that, I see a comment that has Emmanuel Ocho's name in it. So I'm going to skip a few and get right to it. Has the Niners as the better team, even with a 4-week sample. Like, at what point is the lack of respect annoying? Is the lack of respect just too much? Like, at some point, you want your team to get the respect they deserve. A lot of people say it, and it's the cliche term now in Philly. Nobody likes us, and we don't care. Well, I kind of care. I'm kind of tired of that narrative. I kind of want to see the national media talking positively about Jalen Hurts, about Nick Sirianni, about Howie Roseman, about the Eagles. There should be a conversation on ESPN, not about the 49ers, but about Jordan Davis and what he's doing in his second year, the game he had. There's got to be talk on the national media about Jalen Hurts, about A.J. Brown, about Devontae Smith, and what they're capable of doing. But no, it's the Eagles aren't good enough. The Eagles haven't won pretty enough. That the conversation of how they're winning is taking over what this team is. And in my mind, I don't think it would. But in my mind, there is the possibility that causes a distraction. That makes them try to do too much to change the narrative. See, we can win. We can put up 60 points, We can put up 70 like the Dolphins. I'd rather put up 21 and have 10 wins at this point than put up 70 against the Broncos and have 3 or 4 losses. It gets exhausting. But for the players and the coaches, people need validation at their job. And the Super Bowl would be validation, obviously. But the Super Bowl's another couple months away. People need validation. and a little bit of positivity in the media towards what this Eagles team is doing and has been doing for a long time. Since 2017, outside of 2020, one of the best teams in football. A little validation would go a long way to making this team possibly even better. I got chicken part. We're not talking food this morning. Winers lost to Cousins and Burrow while we beat Mahomes and Allen. I can't. I'm trying to zoom in so I can see your name, Kaba. We'll just say Kaba. We'll just call you Kaba. Dude, I got the 49ers schedule up. This 49ers team that's So unstoppable. So great. Not only did they lose those games, they lost to the Browns as well. I mean, who have the 49ers beat? The Steelers early in the season, who are a nobody. The Rams stink. The Giants are terrible. The Cardinals are terrible. The Cowboys are a really good team, but they smoked the Cowboys, so I don't even know how to judge that. The Jags are a good team. They smoked them. The Bucks stink. The Seahawks are very mid. This 49ers team has played nobody at the level of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if they know what they're walking into when they get to Philadelphia on Sunday. They've not faced up against a team like this yet. The last time they faced a team this good was the Eagles in the championship game last year. And guess what happened? Oh, we beat them. They got new players. We got new players, whatever. This is the 49ers Super Bowl this week for sure. He has Ayuk and Samuel, a better wide receiver group than AJ and Smitty. Dude. And again, AJ Brown's had 1,000 yards receiving in 9 games this year, but he had 1 catch in 1 game. So he's not as good. It's a load of horse crap. And this constant disrespect, while some people say it's not a big deal, that it's actually more motivating, I think it's the opposite. They're always trying to do too much to prove themselves. They're always trying to do too much to validate themselves. Sometimes validation is important. It really is. The 41ers stink. You call them frauds. I know that. Phil's so hot and bothered. The hoodie's gone and it didn't even cost us. Okay. All right. There it is. It's back on. I don't want to give you anything for free, K1. Nothing's free in life, okay? The things the Eagles get scrutinized for are the same things people make excuses for the Niners. No Trent and Debo 3-game losing streak. No Lane in Dallas, and we won against the Chiefs and the Bills. Exactly. Exactly. It's funny. I want to catch up on it. Oh, we'll catch up on the comments in a second here. My man Mike Sealski, great beat reporter, put out a funny tweet this morning. I saw it this morning. I don't know when he put it out. Commented basically, and I kind of took it and ran with it a little further, that if Brock Purdy was doing what Brock Purdy was doing in Philly, we think he was a god. You know what I mean? We would have the same reaction to Brock. We crush Brock Purdy because he hasn't done much or this or that. But if he was doing it in Philly, we'd love him. And that's true. But if Brock Purdy was doing what he was doing in San Francisco here in Philly, the national narrative would be he's not good enough. He hasn't proven himself. If Jalen Hurts was doing what he's doing in San Francisco, he'd be the face of the NFL. But for some reason, the national narrative is always anti-Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't know if it's just strictly clickbait reasons. It's jealousy. It's clickbait. It's holding grudges from 30, 40, 50 years ago. There's so much that goes into it. Eagle stands for Bills boy. I don't even. Emmanuel Ochoa, however you say his name, says the Seahawks are a good team, but watch when we play them and we win. Then he'll say they're not who that. Yeah, exactly. And see, this is the thing. It's like, who have the 49ers beaten? We have beaten the juggernauts, the Bills, the Chiefs, Dallas, Dolphins. We've only lost 1 game out of 11. The 49ers, who have they beaten? Dallas and Jacksonville. They're the only 2 good teams. And they're good teams, not even great teams. Oh, Dallas is semi-great. But and then I see the next comment here, and I got to put it up. If there's ever a game to shut the national media up, this is it. Absolutely the biggest game of the year. And sure. But then if we go into Sunday here at South Philly and beat the 49ers on a cold, I think it might be rainy again on Sunday. Say we beat them 21-17. Low scoring game. It'll be like, well, they didn't do it pretty enough. Don't worry, Dallas will beat them next week because Dallas is the better team. Unless we go into Sunday and beat the 49ers pants off and win 45-10, the narrative is not going to change at all. There's a reason why the 49ers and Chiefs are ranked higher than the Eagles on chances of winning the Super Bowl. Because the narrative, the analytics say this or that. Whatever happened to just caring about winning? The 93 Phillies, Macho Row, they didn't care about looking good. Hell, they're some of the ugliest dudes in the world. They made it to the World Series. Whatever happened, and they're lauded as one of the most entertaining sports teams of all time. Whatever happened to just winning? Isn't that all that matters? But right now the narrative is not. 22-83. I saw somebody put, and I don't know who it was, Marshawn. Somebody posted their top 4 or top 5 in their MVP rating if they had to put their vote in today. And they had Trent Williams at number 4. They did have Jalen Hurts at number 1, but they had Trent Williams at number 4 on their MVP voting list. And I was like, that's kind of shocking. I've never seen an offensive lineman that high in an MVP voting list, which honestly is not crazy. You dumped coffee on your stomach. That's not good. I hope it wasn't too hot. What's the latest on Milton and Cunningham? We gonna need them. So injury wise, let's talk about the injuries. K1. That was something I had listed down here we didn't get to yesterday. That Cunningham, it's touch and go. I don't know if we're gonna see Cunningham this week, which means Christian Ellis, Ben Van Summeren, who's on the practice squad, has been elevated too much. So they cut Josiah Scott yesterday, probably to bring Ben Van Summeren up to the 53-man roster. Shaq Leonard's coming in today. Whether they sign him or bring him in yet or not, I don't know. He left Dallas without a contract, so you got him. You got the opportunity to sign him. Lane Johnson should be back. Milton Williams, I don't know. It was a concussion. Concussions, he could be back today. He could have been back yesterday. He could be 2 more weeks. It's hard to judge concussions. Cunningham, though, I would doubt we see. Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, those guys could be back. Dallas Goedert could be back. Lane Johnson, I'm 99% sure will play. So those injuries, we're people. I put out a tweet yesterday, and a lot of people really agreed with me, and I was surprised. I don't think people realize how big of a loss Zach Cunningham would be if it's for an extended stretch. He's not been amazing this year, but he's been damn good this year. For a guy that was an afterthought, brought in after Miles Jack because Miles Jack was the big famous name, Zach Cunningham has played very, very well. Now, Zach Cunningham has an injury history in his career. He has missed extended time for injuries. Hopefully this hamstring is just a quick 2-gamer, 1-gamer, whatever it may be. But it's a big loss. Milton Williams is a big loss, but we've got such a deep rotation on the defensive line. As long as Fletcher Cox is back, we can manage. I don't want Jordan Davis playing 100,000 snaps again. I saw somebody say that they clocked him on that run down to Josh Allen. He hit 16.9 miles an hour running speed. Now, I don't know if that's fast or not for a guy running, but I know for a 350-pound, 6'6" guy, 16.9 miles an hour, that's fast. Okay, I couldn't run that. Hey, 49ers not better than the Bills. I don't know. They might not be. We're gonna find out. If we can get past the Niners and then get past the Cowboys again, we need the respect. Why do we keep having to prove it, though, Zach? At this point, shouldn't the respect just be there? We've done plenty. We've done plenty to garner the respect we deserve. If we beat the Niners, they will make excuses for them and never state the number of injuries we have. They're still making excuses for last year, Duck. They're still making excuses for last year. No self-awareness, no looking themselves in the mirror on what they got to do better, just excuses. Hell, we win, and we still look to dissect our team. When we lose, we dissect our team. I was all prepared for Monday if we lost, not to make it about the refs or this or that, but why did we lose? Who on our team needs to do better? We look at ourselves. Everybody else blames others, but the people that are blaming others are the ones that get all the respect. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing today? Every national media show is designed. It have differing opinions. Not worth the listen if you want real opinions. Absolutely. And I very rarely, Jeremy, listen to national shows or national media. Most of my knowledge of the disrespect comes from Twitter and seeing the posts on Twitter because basically I live on Twitter and it will always be Twitter to me, just so you know. And some of the national opinions, I don't even follow many of the big names. I only see their opinions because people send it to me. People share it. People tag me in their comments because they know how I feel about it. No, I don't follow Skip Bayless. Hell, I got him muted so that I don't see accidentally his stuff. And it still gets sent my way on a regular basis. I don't want to shut up the media. I want the Eagles to be the first Super Bowl champion that get overly scrutinized. I'm sure there have been other Super Bowl teams that have been scrutinized heavily out there. But I don't. I don't want to win the Super Bowl and say, yeah, well, you got lucky. Yeah, you won the Super Bowl, but you still weren't the best team. You just had last year we got to the Super Bowl because we just had an easy path to the Super Bowl. I don't want excuses. I want respect. And while the title of the show is it better? The Philadelphia Eagles are constantly overlooked. In the thumbnail, I put the word RESPECT. Find out what it means. No, I didn't put all that, but just the word respect. I want respect. I want respect for the show. And I want respect for our Philadelphia Eagles. One nut Cruck. Yeah, dude. The Crucker man, Dalton, Dutch, who I still have a grudge against Lenny Dykstra from back in that time frame. Danny Jackson, Mitchie Poo. It's where Mitchie Poo comes from when I call Michkovsky Mitchie Poo. Great team. That's right. Hit that like button. We got 10 likes on YouTube, 2 on Facebook. Pound that like button for me. I greatly appreciate it. We got over 25 people watching on YouTube alone. There's only 10 likes. Hit that like button. You have Rex Ryan saying the Eagles are not winning by knockout, but they win by decision. Now we're talking boxing and football. We go to the decision. Never leave it in the hand of the judges. Isn't that what, Dana White used to say? Don't ever leave it in the hands of the judges. We don't. Actually, see, I disagree. I think we win by knockout. Decision, winning by decision would be, getting up by 30 and just letting the team creep back into it. We go in there and we knock them out in the 12th round. Hence, Jalen Hurts with a winning touchdown in overtime. We knock them out in the final round. That's what we do. TKO, round 10. They can't take anymore. How much more hurt is Dean? Dean is still weeks away from even considering it. Van Summer is not ready for regular play or even off the bench. I don't disagree with that. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. Ben Van Summer. If we were the Indianapolis Colts or if we were the New Orleans Saints, 5-6, 6-5 teams, sure, you could play someone like Van Summer. But we're 10-1 and we're trying to win a Super Bowl. You can't play him. But he has no more elevation status, so he can't be protected anymore. So you risk losing him if you don't add him to 53. So just throwing that out there. I don't know what they'll do with it, but rumors are after the visit he's going home and making his decision. So Shaq Leonard wants a weekend off, basically, is what he's saying. Look, I'm not set that we need Shaq Leonard, but we need somebody. Shaq Leonard, I don't know why he's still out there. I don't know why he didn't get signed by the Cowboys. I don't know why he wants a week off. Like, I don't get the whole situation with Shaq Leonard and why he even got released in the first place. So while we need another linebacker, I'm skeptical if he's the right answer or why he even is available to be the answer. Leonard will be an Eagle this week, but is he going to play on Sunday? If he's not an Eagle by 12:30 today, he's not playing on Sunday. They got to walk through today, then they got their practice tomorrow. You sign him, you got to do the physical. Maybe he gets some classroom work in today. Maybe he gets on the field limited tomorrow. Maybe you have a couple packages for him on Sunday, but that's it. Unless he's signed really, really soon today, it's not going to happen. I could see Kittle going off on our D with our sucky linebackers. Yeah. Look, I think George Kittle is one of the most underrated tight ends in football. I mean, he's always counted as one of the top 5 guys. But what he does the dirty work. I mean, have you ever seen him like plow block somebody over for a touchdown when someone else is rushing for a touchdown? He like gets his giggles out of crushing people in blocking schemes. The guy can catch and run routes, but he's such a good blocker. He stays on the lines just as much as he does running routes. Like, I kind of think like he's like an old school tight end. I feel like George Kittle would have been perfect in the 80s. Like, I really do. He's so underrated. And no offense to what we got, but Nicholas Morrow and Christian Ellis are going to have their hands full on Sunday. If they're the 2 starting linebackers, they're going to have their hands full. You're going to have to hope Kevin Byard or Reed Blankenship can blanket on George Kittle a little bit on Sunday. Kittle always torches us, but as long as we get the W, I'm good. Exactly. You're never going to stop someone like George Kittle. You're just hoping to contain him. And we've contained the majority of the big name pass catchers in the NFL this year. Very few of them have gone off to a level that cost us a game. Well, we've only lost one. for 300 pounds to chase down a running quarterback in the open field. It was impressive. Throw some respect on it. That should have been one of like the lead stories or a story on every national channel. I guarantee that play did not get shown on one national channel this week. Media don't cover Eagles much. They don't. The Cowboys, the Niners, the Bills, the Chiefs. The respect should be there, but it'll never come. And that's all I'm saying is that it should be there. What else do they have to prove? I have this phrase written down here in circle. Maybe I wanted to make it a title. Maybe it'll be tomorrow's title. What's left for the Eagles to do? They were 14-3 last year. They went to the Super Bowl. They're 10-1 again this year. They're probably going to win 13 or 14 games at least this year. They're probably going to go to the Super Bowl again. What else do they have to do to get the respect that they deserve? As a 49er fan here, national media is wrong about both our teams. Brock Purdy will never get respect because he was a 7th-round draft pick. I think in Philadelphia, Brock Purdy would be considered a god at this point, considering he was a 7th-round pick. If he did what he's doing in San Francisco here, man, we'd be hoisting him up and saying he was the MVP, just like we do Jalen Hurts. And I think Jalen Hurts in San Francisco would have a lot more respect on his name if it wasn't in Philly. But I welcome 49ers fans' opinions into the conversation here. Like, are 49ers fans similar to the 49ers players where they're taking this game as revenge, but also like, we are the better team. You guys got lucky last year. We're going to show. Like, because that's the feeling I get from the 49ers clubhouse, from the players, from the organization, that they think we got lucky last year and we're going to beat them this year. Are the 49ers fans feeling the same way? Or are the 49ers fans thinking, this is going to be a tough game? The Eagles are a damn good football team, and this is no cakewalk. Do the 49ers fans feel they should be the favorite betting-wise in this game? Should they be the favorite to win the Super Bowl? I really would love to know. Say, Gammon Brown, I would love more opinions on this. Do we really need respect from the Rex Ryan, Emmanuel Ocho, Daniel Orlovsky, Dominic Foster? Listen, keep the names coming, Marsha. Losers, like, well, nobody's a loser. Everybody's a winner in their own right. But yes, we do. I want it. I do. Respect for the show and those fools. Oh, yeah, Becky. It makes my day that Becky watches my show now. You know, from time she don't even know what she's talking about, but she watches. It makes me smile. She's like my third wife. You know what I mean? Duck. Becky watches more of the show than Melissa does. Just so you know. Skip gives zero respect to the Eagles team. We will never get respect. We didn't get it in 17, and we didn't get it last year, even though we made it one of the best Super Bowls on the last decade. Absolutely agree. But I want it. I want the respect. I do. Purdy will always be considered a product of the Shanahan system. Now, that's kind of similar to what Jalen Hurts is. They say he's a system quarterback, a running quarterback. You know, great coordinators, great talent around him. Purdy's pretty similar in that aspect. I mean, he's got Debo. He's got Ayuk. Kittle. Hell, he's got the best weapon in the NFL in Christian McCaffrey. I mean, Rex Ryan can go suck toes. Well, he doesn't have to. He probably will. He probably has already today. And he'll probably do it again for lunch later today. Just saying. Headline, was Eagles most mid-team to ever win a Super Bowl? Probably was. There are 9 people watching that haven't hit the like button. I know, Marshall. What's up? We got 23 people overall watching, and there's 14 likes on YouTube, 3 on Facebook. People got to do a better job hitting that like button. I get more likes on the replays now than I do in the live show. Shaq Leonard was cut because of the injury history, huge contract, and he has been unhappy in the locker room. Well, he's got injury history. That's not good. He's got a huge contract. That's not good. Well, he's cut now, so whatever we signed him for. And he has been unhappy in the locker room. That's not good. You don't want. I mean, look, Shaq Leonard would make this team better. He's kind of in that Kevin Byard, group. Braden Robbie group. Guys with past success. He would make us better on the field. But if he's a drama-ridden guy, I don't want him. We got the perfect locker room culture right now. Hey, I recommend watching Bye Bye Barry. It's a well-done documentary on Barry Sanders and finally gave insight to leave at the top of this game. I'll have to look it up. Let me write that down. I love Barry Sanders. Bye Bye Barry. I loved Barry Sanders when I was a kid, man. Loved him. I love to call in sometime this week before the game. I'd be a respectful guest. We don't do call-ins. I don't have a I have a soundboard that does it. I just don't know how to work it. But we do comments and comments only. Maybe send me a message if you've done other work. Maybe I can get you in the morning on Friday when we preview the Eagles 49ers. Send me a direct message. If you're on Twitter or Instagram, my handle, or TikTok, that's my handle on all those sites. Send me a DM. Let me know that you're you. And I would love to have a 49ers perspective on the show for at least 15 or 20 minutes. So hit me up if you want on social media. Jerry will offer Sean more key than we offer just to keep him out of Philadelphia. We'll just move on to the next free agency. Yeah, and the money thing with Shaq Leonard is something. I don't ever doubt Howie. Um, I never doubt Howie finding money somewhere. But right now, at this moment, without wheeling and dealing things, the Eagles have about $2 million left they could spend on free agents. The Cowboys have about 6, is what I read. Didn't fact check it, read it, saw it. Saw a couple people post it, so I'm assuming it's accurate. Um, Dallas has more money available to spend. How they have more money to spend, I have no idea because they overspend on so many different people. But they have more money to offer at this exact moment. I totally forgot about the Jim Brown, the Lions. Um, yeah, Hurts in San Francisco would be a lock for MVP. Absolutely, absolutely. I was looking. I was placing some Sixers bets the other night. I was looking. I forgot. I bet Jalen Hurts at 11-1 to win the MVP this year. He's at plus. He's like 125, like 1.5 to 1 to win. He is the favorite to win it right now. But I'm glad I got him at 11-1 to win the MVP because I think he's a very, very likely candidate to be the MVP this year. Wow, 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 cry, cry, 49ers fans' opinion in a nutshell. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that, but I'll gladly give a 49ers fan. I say, what's the tagline of the show? Where everybody's opinion matters. So I'll take it. I'll take everybody's opinion. I'll wrap it up and I'll listen. Now, I won't necessarily agree, but I'll listen to every opinion. The only reason the Niners can afford all the weapons on offense is because they don't pay the quarterback position and have had good quarterbacks. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, the model of the NFL is find your quarterback and pay him big, and then go mid everywhere else. 49ers go pay everybody else and get a mid quarterback, and everybody else makes your quarterback look better. The Eagles' philosophy is pay the quarterback and pay everybody else. Howie Roseman magically finds money. I don't know how, but he does. It's kind of hilarious how Howie Roseman can pay Jalen Hurts what he's paying him, but also still find money to pay everybody else. It's hilarious. It's great. San Francisco will have to pay Purdy his money eventually. Probably. They'll find a way to make him not. The Barry thing's on Netflix. That might be what I want. Well, no, I won't be watching tonight. Tonight I will be on Edge of Philly with Big Al, 8:30 tonight. So make sure you check out Edge of Philly Sports tonight. I'll be with him, not watching the Barry Sanders doc. The Phil hotline. I had originally made a Google number, and there's a way to plug my phone into my soundboard and take phone calls live on the air. I made a free Google phone number for it. I'm an idiot. I have no technical knowledge whatsoever. I don't even know how to use 90% of my soundboard. 95% of it, I don't. Um, I know how to plug it in, turn it on, and make sure sound is going to you. That's it. That's it. We have about 2.4 million under the cap right now. Yeah, so right about 2 million, like I said. But the Cowboys have a lot more. Brown retired from the Browns by sending a telegram from England where he was shooting the Dirty Dozen. Dirty Dozen, by the way, excessively underrated movie. What should be in everybody's top 20 movie list of all time. And if you haven't watched the original Dirty Dozen, you got to. It's a fantastic movie. Barry faxed his retirement letter to the Lions and got a flight to London. That's kind of funny. 49ers stink. Look. How many times have you put that in the comments today? Look, I want to just say it. I respect the 49ers. I'm not going into the game on Sunday thinking we're going to crush them. I'm showing respect to my opponent. The 49ers are a damn good football team. Are they as good as the Eagles? No. But they're a damn good team. Can they beat us on Sunday? Absolutely. Any given Sunday, anybody can win. But are they the better team? No. In certain positions, they have better players. They have more skills at certain players than we do. But we are the better team. Good morning, Ezekiel. How you doing today, my man? Let's go Birds. Let's get Shaq. I can't wait till Sunday. It's a special time to be an Eagles fan right now because you just never, I just you just can't wait till the next game. One game ends and the next one You're just waiting for the next one. You just can't wait. I'm sick of all the 49. No, you got to put respect. If you don't respect your opponent, the opponent's going to kill you. It's like, what do they say in war movies? Like, don't ever like not respect. I was watching the Pacific. It's like the spin off of Band of Brothers, and one of the army guys got yelled at like, you will always respect your enemy, or your enemy's going to put you in the ground. It's the same thing with football. The enemies will put you into the ground. They'll beat you if you don't respect them. You got to respect everybody. Right at the bottom of the screen, right here, Beard A Knowledge is my Twitter handle. There you go. Right next to my name there on the screen there, my man. Um, Howie, Barry Bonds, most of contracts with the knowledge that the cap increase will cover it over the next 4 to 5 years. We've been paying Alshon for a 3 year after he was done here. Yeah, Howie just the phrase is kicks the tire, kicks the tire, or that kicks the can down the road. He just keeps pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. All right, talking about respect, talking about everything else. Let's jump into my NFL Power Rankings Week 13 edition. And obviously, without further ado, the number one team on my power rankings is the Philadelphia Eagles. Is there any doubt that the Philadelphia Eagles would be number one? Now, I got the Kansas City Chiefs at number two, even though we just beat the Chiefs. Yes, I've got the Chiefs at number two. I got the Ravens at number three. Some people say that the Ravens belong ahead of the Ravens belong ahead of the Chiefs. I don't. I still put plenty of respect on Patrick Mahomes and those Chiefs. Andy Reid and those Chiefs. I will always respect them. I got the Lions at four. I still think the Lions are a good football team. They've hit a couple bumps in the road in the last couple of weeks, but I still think they're good. 49ers at five. Now, I think you could flip flop the Lions and the Niners, um, but that's about it. I don't think there's an argument to be made that there's any team that belongs in the top five, not named the Eagles, Chiefs, Ravens, Lions, 49ers. Just the arrangement of them could be different. I got the Cowboys six, and I got the Dolphins seven. I finally knocked the Dolphins down a tick. I got the Jaguars at eight because I think the Jaguars are still a good team. They're not dangerous to win the Super Bowl, but they can make a run to the championship game possibly. I put the Steelers at nine. I don't know. I saw a joke somebody posted on social media that their kid asked them, "Are the Steelers a good football team?" and had no idea how to answer it. I mean, they've got only 4 losses on the season. They have a terrible offense. Well, they did till this week. They got a really great defense. I don't know what to think of the Steelers. We haven't talked about the Steelers and Deontay Johnson on that fumble. I don't know if you guys have seen the highlight roaming around. There was a fumble and the ball rolled right in front of him. He just watched it, watched the opponent pick it up, and watched the opponent run it back. And I put the Broncos at 10. I don't know if the Broncos are the 10th best team, but the Broncos, it's been a long time since the Broncos have lost a football game. So I've got to put some respect on the Broncos' winning streak. So I bumped them ahead of the Texans, Browns, and Colts for that. But still, it's a very, very mid NFL right now. Power rankings time. That's right. Okay, Niners are better than the Lions and the Ravens. Lions and the Ravens, Niners. So you would have the Niners three. I can see four. I still think the Ravens are possible. The Ravens might need to be number two. The Ravens might be the second best team in football, honestly, in my opinion. You know, if you're going to take, I've got the top 6 odds to win the Super Bowl. Eagles 4-1, or 49ers, Chiefs, Eagles are all under 5-1. Finns and Ravens are 8-1, and Cowboys are 9-1. Putting a small bet on the Ravens at 8-1 is not a bad idea right now. They might be the second best team in football. I'm just not sure yet. So maybe you can flip flop the Lions and the 49ers, but that's about it. Chiefs have to be number 2 still, in my opinion. If you knew how to use that soundboard there could be a drum roll effect. There probably is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 12 sound effects on this board, maybe more. I can't figure it out. Cowgirls should be above the Lions. I don't know. Maybe I buy the Lions because the Lions are a lot like the Eagles. Culture instead of flash. Culture over style points. I think the Lions' culture puts them a little bit ahead. Lions so fraudulent. I know a lot of people say that about the Lions. I don't know. I gotta get Jason on the show, or get a comment from my man Jason Sullivan, who's a Lions fan, my golf co-host. Top 5 is 100. Yeah, I don't. We can. I think we can debate the order of the top 5, but I don't think the Cowboys belong in the top 5. I just don't. It should be Eagles, Chiefs, Niners, Ravens, Cowboys, Lions. I still got the Lions above those Cowboys, but everything else I can agree with on you there. But honestly, that's not the worst ranking either. Lions may only have 3 L's. Jared Goff is reminding everyone why LA traded him. I don't know. Hey, the Rams are right back in the playoff picture. I called them as a sneaky team in the offseason. I did. Broncos on fire. They are, man. You got to put some respect. I had them written out after week 4 of this season, but they are on fire. They've won, what, 5 games in a row, 6 games in a row, something like that. Let's be honest. The top 4 teams are really close in skill and production. They are. The top, well, teams 2 through nobody's on the level of the Eagles, right? You guys missing my face, my pretty face, not on the screen right now. Um, there's a lot of teams that are bunched together for sure. But I don't think anybody, Lions, 49ers, or Cowboys, but see, the thing is, like, if you put, like, say, the 49ers at 2, just say, or the Cowboys at 3, you're saying they're pretty close. I keep those NFC teams down because I don't think anybody on the NFC is on the level of the Eagles. I think the Chiefs and the Ravens are on the level of the Eagles. So that's why I kind of got to bump those NFC teams down a bit because I just don't think that they compete against us. I don't. 5 very good NFL teams and a lot of, I don't know if I'd use the word stink chatter. I would say a lot of average. A lot of average. We could still see your beaming visage. I just, so, I got a face for radio anyway. You got to get me on the radio, not on YouTube. You guys don't need to see my face. But let's be honest. After that 6th position, there's a steep fall off. 5, 6. I mean, the Dolphins and the Jags, they're a fall off, but I don't think they're a steep fall off. I think after 7 or 8, once you get to the Steelers and the rest of the teams in the NFL, yes, no one's going to be worried about the Steelers in the playoffs. Nobody's going to be worried about the Broncos in the playoffs, the Colts, the Browns, the Texans, whoever makes the playoffs. Nobody's going to fear those teams. There might be a little fear maybe in the first few rounds of a team like the Dolphins or the Jaguars winning a game. That's why getting the number 1 seed so important because teams like the Jags or the Dolphins could win that wild card round. They won't make it much further, though. We don't see your face. We just see your glorious beard. I don't know about glorious. I don't know about that. Phil should be jogging behind his trainer, okay, bike and saying, I got a little elliptical over here on the side. You want me to do a show while I'm running? Yeah, that won't work. That would be the most unsuccessful show of all time. Just checking some things here. Seeing if my man, there he is. All right, so Justin Crosby could be coming up here soon. So at 9:00 to talk Sixers. So just making sure you saw, remember, is awake. Just double checking. How often are the Niners 3-point favorites how are the Niners 3-point favorites and ranked 5th? Well, because they shouldn't be 3-point favorites, first off, mister. This goes into the whole theory of the show that I want respect put on the Eagles' name. There's no reason for the 49ers to be favored over the Eagles in Philadelphia. You want to say that the Eagles are in San Francisco and the 49ers say we're 2.5-point favorites? All right. Maybe I can understand that theory. But in Philadelphia, in December, a 10-1 team with a 3-loss team coming to town, there's no reason for the 49ers to be 3-point favorites. And if you haven't bet the Eagles plus money line, you're just wasting money. I'm not saying the Eagles are going to win. I think they're going to win. It's not a guarantee. No bet's guaranteed. But if there's a better bet to make right now in the end, I dare anybody to find a better bet than plus 130 money line on the Eagles this Sunday. You're never going to get a 10-1 team at home at plus money ever in betting. And you have that opportunity right now this week. Not even like they're missing their stars. There's a couple injured players, yes. but it's not like Jalen Hurts is missing the game or is really hurt or something like that. You'll never find a better bet than plus money right now this week. You just won't. Detroit barely beat the Bears and Chargers and just lost to Green Bay. I know the Chargers loss is bad, or the Green Bay loss is bad, but barely beat the Bears and Chargers. Don't we talk about how it doesn't matter how with the Eagles, it doesn't matter how you win as long as you win. So you can't say barely beat the Bears. That's a division rival. We barely beat Washington. So should we be bumped out of the one spot, K1, because we barely beat Washington? We barely beat the New England Patriots. Should we be bumped out of the number one spot because of that? That's I don't look at barely winning. As long as you win. If you find a way to dig deep and win a football game, that's all that matters. It's the culture aspect of it. A lot of lines are frauds. A lot of it. A lot of it. Yeah, this spread by Vegas is very, very odd. We all know a 3-point home team is stating that they don't think the team is good, but to give your opponent 3 points, yeah, basically what the 3-point line says is on a neutral field, the 49ers are a 6-point better team than the Eagles on a neutral field. I mean, you're never going to find anything like this. Never. Never going to find this of a 10-1 team. The money that could be bet and won, it's ridiculous. Now, again, the Eagles might lose. Maybe. It'll be a close game one way or another. But I'm not missing out the opportunity to get plus money on a 10-1 football team at home in December. I would be a stupid bettor not to even consider making that. Even garbage teams have good games, I see. Most analysts complain about the Eagles winning ugly, but I'd rather that than lose pretty. Like what's more frustrating as an Eagles fan? And I'm going to take my power rankings off the screen. You guys need to see my face again. What is more frustrating as an Eagles fan? The respect that they don't get, for their record, the respect, like this part here, that they complain that we win ugly. Is that more disrespectful? Like I get so frustrated, Kyle, over this. Like all that should matter. Like what happened? What happened to just winning? What happened to win? Like I know analytics are the ultra analytics is the way of the world now in all sports. But the number one thing people always used to look at is what's your win-loss record. That's all that should matter. But it doesn't. Like if you don't win pretty, then you're not a good team. I don't get it. And it's so beyond frustrating at this point that that's where we're at. It is. Ant-Man chatter, exactly. Any given Sunday. Hey, any given Sunday is accurate. It is. 100%. Eagles are not going to lose. Eric on FTB said the same thing. I hope not. I don't think so. But you never know. Any given Sunday. And if the Eagles lose on Sunday, it does not mean the 49ers are the better team in the NFL. It just means the 49ers were better on Sunday. That's all it matters. Or that's all it means. You can ask the Bills because they lost pretty. Allen looked good and better than he did last year against us. Yeah, I mean, what would you rather? Be Josh Allen today, who just got beat but had a good game? Or would you rather be the Eagles, who won, but, they had some hiccups along the way and win? Remember, what was the word yesterday we kept talking about? Execution. They executed when it mattered the most, better than their opponent. That's in the finer points of culture, teaching, and coaching and practice. That's what it is. Keeping that mental edge sharp as a knife all the time. What frustrates me as an Eagles fan is how they wait till the second half to start playing offense. Yeah, it's frustrating. I get that. But how much of that, so here's the thing. We praise Sean Desai for his second half adjustments. Why don't we praise Brian Johnson for his second half adjustments? The game plan, they make changes to the game plan at halftime. Our offense looks better in the second half. I get it. I want them to play a complete game, a complete 60-minute game. But Brian Johnson makes just as many adjustments at halftime as Sean Desai does. What Like, I don't understand. You know what would be funny? If you flip the script a little bit. Like, Sean Desai is being praised this year for being this great defensive coordinator and making all these great adjustments. He gives up 15, 20 in the first half, shuts them out, or gives up only one touchdown in the second half, whatever that is. So he's praised for that. The Eagles don't score at first, but then score later. Brian Johnson's bad. What would the narrative be of these coordinators if the Eagles were constantly going up 28-3 in the first half, and then Brian Johnson was letting the foot off the pedal, which was a common theme last year, and the defense was giving up second half points. But still, we were winning 28-24, but we're up 28-3 at the half. The narrative would be flipped there. So, I want to say that it's frustrating, but I want to also put some respect because all we hear about is fire. Right before I came live, on Facebook, that I saw in one of the super fan groups. I don't think it was Kyle's, but one of them I saw somebody with a picture of Brian Johnson with the words "Fire Brian Johnson" under it. Why don't we give him credit for making the proper adjustments in second half of football games? Like we give the credit to Sean Desai, but not Brian Johnson. Last season, we didn't play anyone. This year, we're lucky. Exactly. I saw somebody. I think it was a Cowboys fan, probably a Cowboys fan, comparing all the luck that we faced since the start of last year. Lucky schedule last year. Lucky playoff schedule last year. This year, lucky this, lucky that. Like, all right, well, we played an easy schedule last year. So let's go out and play one of the hardest schedules of all time. And let's go 10-1. It's exhausting. Sometimes I enjoy doing the show, and I enjoy doing the show all the time. But sometimes the conversations we have to have are frustrating because we shouldn't have to have these conversations. You can ask Hal, Dak, Allen. They all put up huge numbers on us and still lost. You look at their stats, and you would have thought how they had won the games. Yeah, I don't care about stats. Like, I've gotten so frustrated with baseball over the years, Duck, because I'm an old school guy. I care about runs, the win-loss record, who hit the most home runs, who struck out the most batters. Now it's F1. There's so many letters and different symbols for new analytic stats in baseball that I don't understand. When all that really matters is, are you a winning baseball team or not? In football, people just care about all these passing stats and looking good. I just care about one statistic. What is the win-loss record right now and at the end of the year? That's it. I'd settle for a hot start on offense instead of 3-and-out. You would rather a hot start on offense and then be stressing out about your defense the entire second half because they can't do it? Look, I get it. The slow starts are frustrating. There's something wrong with the pre-scripted plays, whoever's pre-scripted them. But they still figure it out in the second half. Something changes in the second half of these games. So if we're going to praise Sean Desai for his second half adjustments, why aren't we praising Brian Johnson for his second half adjustments? Absolutely not. The second Brian Johnson's out of Philly, he's getting a team as head coach. I don't understand this. Like, yeah, he's going to get a head coaching job, Brian Johnson, of course. Oh, you're talking about, I'm sorry, I'm behind on comments, so I'm just thinking, you're talking about the post that I said about on Facebook, someone saying fire. There are people all over social media after last week saying fire Brian Johnson. They've been talking about it for a few weeks now. Like, I don't get it. Why would you fire him? Like, why would you fire Brian Johnson at this point? It doesn't make sense. We're a 10-1 team. It just wouldn't make no sense. Bills fans I spoke to have zero respect for the Eagles, which is ridiculous. Completely and totally ridiculous. I've had multiple talks with people who have claimed our schedule isn't the hardest and is actually one of the... Really? 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 We played the Bills, the Chiefs, Dallas, Dolphins, 4 of the last 5 games. Just saying. Washington, too, which is always a tough game for us. I don't want to hear no excuses about the schedule this year. Don't want to hear any excuses. Use words like doo-doo. Baseball is a game for statisticians and actuaries. I actually know what an actuary is now. But yeah, it shouldn't be though.
Like, what happened to good old baseball?
Hit the ball, pitch the ball, throw the ball, catch the ball. Whatever happened to all that?
Now there's so much science in the game.
That it's kind of nauseating to an extent. It really is. Like sometimes people like I'll be having an argument about the Phillies, and someone will say a stat. I'm like, I don't even know what that stat means. Like, I don't. I gotta Google it. Like, it's insane. We only take baseball in October. We're not talking baseball. We're using baseball as an example of how sports as a whole have gone away from basketball. You got your shooting percentage, and then you got your true shooting percentage. Do we need two different shooting percentage stats? No. Like, what happened to just you made 35% of your threes or you made 45% of your threes? What happened to just looking at that? Like, I'm so tired of the over analytical aspect of sports. Brian's scripts have been worse than recent MCU fare. Probably, K1. Probably. I don't know, but probably. But I don't know if he's the one drawing up the scripts. I don't. I think there's a combination of him and Nick Sirianni. I saw something interesting about Nick Sirianni yesterday, and I don't know if we have enough time to dive into it. But everybody was hyping up Frank Reich being available, bring him in, whatever. But Frank Reich, since he lost Nick Sirianni to the Eagles, it's kind of flamed out everywhere. Maybe it wasn't Frank Reich, this great head coach. It was the man behind Frank Reich, Nick Sirianni, that actually made him so special. Just a theory. Just something I saw that piqued my interest a little bit. Just something that kind of I saw floating around, and I'm like, that's kind of interesting. We played the Vikings, and when the Dolphins, when they were hot. Yeah, they were good teams at that point. They still had Kirk Cousins. The Dolphins were, 2 weeks removed from putting up 70 points against the Broncos. How did we lose to Eagles? They play nobody. I explained they beat the Cowboys, the Dolphins, the Chiefs. Nope. And now we beat your Bills, too. So, people, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Oh, no. We're waiting for we'll do the reset when Justin logs in here. I'm waiting on my man Justin Crosby here to join us, talk a little Sixers. Y'all ask for him. We bring him back as often as we can. Then Sirianni and Stoutland need to take responsibility for the first series scripts. It's the writer's room. Exactly. Well, maybe it's because the writer's strike. Maybe now that the writer's strike's over, maybe the script will get better. I don't know. But yeah, the opening script is not good. But the opening script is a cumulative, compilation. It's not just on Brian Johnson. It's just something to think about there, for sure. Hold. You just reminded me. I saw Frank Reich at quarterback in the Bye Bye Barry documentary. Frank Reich, man, one of the best comebacks in quarterback history right there in the playoffs with the Bills. What were they down in that game? Like 40 or something like that? 30? I don't remember, but it was a hell of a comeback by him. He was a great backup quarterback back in the day. Terrible once he got promoted to starter. We need to go back to the original source material. Absolutely. Great comeback, yeah, obviously. I've met Frank. He grummy. I don't know. Grumpy. I kind of figured that's what you meant there. Look, I don't know. I'm not in on the Frank Reich to Philly thing. Not because I don't think we need help, but just because I think Frank Reich is kind of maybe not all he's cracked up to be, at least not yet, not right now. It'll be a while until he's a head coach again, but he probably will get one more chance if he wants it. He'll be an offensive coordinator somewhere next year for sure. Maybe it's in Philly if Brian Johnson gets a head coaching job. I don't know, possibly. But the Frank Reich conversation, really something that interests me. Like, was he really as good as people thought he was as a head coach, or was it Nick Sirianni, the offensive coordinator? Nick Sirianni was the first guy he hired. Jim Kelly, very nice if you see him. Jim Kelly is one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. I loved it. I loved watching him play. I really did. Where's my man? He said 9:00. Let's see. Let's see if my man's almost here right now. Give me a second to check my messages here. See if my guy will be here soon. He hasn't messaged me, so there should be no problems. Hopefully he's here. We'll do the hard reset now. You're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. What do we got? We got 18 likes on YouTube. Not enough. We got 3 likes on Facebook. Not enough. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, subscribe button, follow button. It is free to do it. It does not cost you a penny. So likes, shares, follows, retweets, everything. Just hit those buttons. It would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Jim Kelly, when you see him talk about his son, it is heartwarming and breaking at the same time. Yeah, Jim Kelly has not had an easy life at all. He's a great man, great individual. Love to listen to him speak as well. Hard to judge a coach with bad quarterback play. Has Frank Reich had bad quarterback play? I don't know. I mean, Carson Wentz in that last year in Indy, actually really solid. All right. Quick catch up here on all the comments. Morning, Mitchy Poo. How you doing, my man? All right, finally, join us on the I have no sponsor hotline. My man, talking Sixers, covering the Sixers for Philadelphia Sports Network. You asked for him, you got him. Justin Crosby, good morning, my man. Are you there? Uh-oh, we might have some technical difficulties there with Justin there. I don't know if he can't hear me. There you go. I hear you now. You there, my man?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. So
There you go. It's your first time, right? It's okay. How you
good
doing,
morning.
Justin? I don't know. I think we still have some technical difficulties there.
I'm ready now.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
You doing all right this morning, my man?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Sixers, we'll transition for a little bit here from Eagles talk everybody to the Sixers here with Justin Crosby. So Justin, I'm so stuck on the Eagles right now. I can't get them out of my mind. The Sixers, they obviously had their big winning streak. Then they had a little bit of a hiccup there, a couple losses there. They got knocked out of the in season tournament, obviously. But the last 2 games, especially the other night against the Lakers, where are you now? Has your opinion over the last 2 weeks or so changed about this Sixers team now that they faced some adversity, had some injuries, had some different things? Has your mind changed at all?
My mind has not changed. They are a good team. They are playing very well. They are missing something. And
Okay.
that something is another ball handler
Okay.
to play with the bench unit and play with Embiid while Maxi or Melton's off the court. I know Uber is coming back soon, so that'll help. But they need somebody that's going to be able to really get them an offense and have some shot creation.
So they need another ball handler, but and obviously, Chicago's blowing up. The obvious conversation is going to constantly steer towards the Chicago Bulls and Zach LaVine. When you say
Mhm.
they need another ball handler, do they need another Zach LaVine star type player, or are fans just seeing the flashy name and just overthinking it, and they just need another guy on the bench that can do it?
See, if you asked me this before the season started, I'd say yes. But Max's play has leaped so high this season already that
Mhm.
it's like Zach LaVine is not necessarily what you need. He will help, and he will have to buy into being the third guy,
Mhm.
not being the number one guy or the number two guy. He would have to buy into. All right, there's times we call plays for you, but other than that, we need you to be a movement shooter and a catch and shoot, and of course attack, closeout, and stuff like that. But it's going to cost too much to get him. And depending on if the team sees him as like a long-term solution, they don't want to take on that contract. It's like 200 something million left, 4 years.
Mhm.
When they have all this max cap space, do you kind of want to clog it up with a guy that you don't think will fit? Probably not. So I think the name they will go after, if it's not too expensive, is Alex Caruso.
Okay. I've heard some people say that Caruso's worth actually on the trade market more than Zach LaVine in some markets and in some cities. I know he's a popular name as well, but do you think because I keep saying, and I've been told I'm crazy because I keep saying that I don't want Zach LaVine here for multiple different reasons. But you mentioned Maxi. Like, I kind of feel like bringing in a Zach LaVine type player or star or whatever you consider him would, if anything, stunt this ascension we're seeing from Tyrese Maxey this year. Is that an accurate feeling right there?
I do, but again, it'll have to be somebody who understands what the role is now. Like Maxi
Yeah.
has already
See,
claimed that.
I don't think Zach LaVine would understand that role. Is why I'm anti that. Like, I don't want to slow Maxey's growth down at all.
Yeah, and that's why we talked about it previously, like with the whole Harden situation. Like we're like, yo, we gotta let him go. Like even if he's trying to come back and you know fake like he's doing training camp, he can't step on the court because it's just going to mess up Maxi's development at this point. And you're right, he may not feel that way, right? Like Zach LaVine may not feel that way. And if you get a guy that's going to help, he has to be a complementary piece, right? So that's why people want or are speculating about OG Anunoby from the Raptors. Like he's not a ball handler, but he's a 3-and-D guy who can get his own shot when needed, but won't be counted on. But can guard wings, can hit open threes, more of a complementary piece. So I think that's something that would fit well with Maxi. But to me, it also shows that Maxi is willing to be in whatever role they ask him to be in.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm still in the phase at this point. What are the Sixers? 11 and or 12-5 right now. We're
Yep.
only 17 games into obviously a long season.
Mhm.
17 games into a season with a new head coach with new moving parts. That I don't even want the Sixers making any moves right now until we're 25, 30 games in the season, until Kelly Oubre is back and we get all the Harden pieces and all the Sixers pieces on the court for several games in a row to really truly
Yep.
understand. Like, maybe we don't need another ball handler. We think we do, we might, but maybe we don't. Once we've got all the pieces here for an extended stretch, um, are Sixers fans too quick to want to pull the trigger on making a move?
I think it's just because we've missed Oubre and Batum was out for a couple games. So I think some of that stuff like was highlighted because we didn't have the Sixers didn't have Batum or Oubre and Alana, but with Oubre coming back, Batum has been a real surprise. I mean, we knew he could still play, but just what he brings to the team, defense, quick passing, somebody who can actually make an entry pass to Joel Embiid is not afraid of doing it. Like that's much needed. So I think we'll see. And then because of the way the contracts are done in the trade, those trades, those contracts that we got, the Sixers got from the Clippers can't be put together again in a trade together until January 15th anyway. So we have some time to see how this thing plays out before they even think about a move. But I will say, if a move is going to happen, Daryl usually waits for the deadline, right, to try to get the best thing. But if they see something that they really like, I think they'll go for it early to kind of get the mesh together earlier than rather than later.
We'll get back to that in a second, and we'll get to Kelly Oubre in a second. But you mentioned Nicholas Batum. Like, look, I'm a Nicholas Batum guy. Like, I always knew he was a good player, but I didn't know he was going to provide this. Like, what is it about Nicholas Batum that all of a sudden, like, he seems to, like, the games he misses, and he's missed a few games. He's got, I don't know what personal stuff he's got going on, but he's got something going on, and
Yeah,
he's doing his best to keep it, out of the limelight, which I respect that. Um, but when he's here, even though he's only played a few games and hasn't had full amount of time to really integrate with this team, like, I didn't expect this, like him to be such a key piece of this
right.
Harden situation. Like, he really could be one of those difference makers for us.
And like when the trade happened, I was super surprised they got him. Like
Yeah.
I was thinking, like in my head, the everything was over Terrence Mann, right? Like
Right. Yeah.
my thing was like Batum has been so helpful. He was so helpful for the Clippers the last couple of years to the point where like the Clippers were out without Paul George, or they were out Kawhi Leonard. They went to the conference finals. Batum was playing small ball five, and that's how they beat the number one seed Utah Jazz in the playoffs because Batum was out there in the corner shooting threes, stuff like that, just making smart plays. For him to still be able to do that in year 16,
Mhm.
right here, he's quick on his feet, quick shooting, quick passing, and he plays pretty good defense for someone who has been in the league for a while. I just like the added thing. He has a relationship with Joel. And like I said, he seems to be one of the only guys on the team who is not afraid to try to make a tough entry pass. And I'm sure Embiid likes it. And if we'll see tonight if they're doing something where they're like fronting Joel, you'll see Batum immediately go to the high post
Mhm.
and like snap for the ball so he can get it and pass it down on the low post because he's like, you guys are too scared. I know you don't want to get a turnover, but we need to get the big fella a bucket. So that's been a good sight to see.
And I see Mr. saying here, we still need another certified scorer, but that gets to the other name that we've mentioned here a few times here, and that's Kelly Oubre, who is actually traveling on this road trip with the
Mhm.
Sixers. He's not going to play tonight, but they're saying he might play Friday.
Yeah.
They're saying maybe what's Boston on Friday, I believe.
Yep. Yep.
Which is weird. We played Boston 3 times already this year. Like
It's
seems
ridiculous.
yeah, like that schedule right. He just doesn't seem right there. Um, Maybe Kelly Oubre is that. Because Kelly Oubre was playing really well
He
before he
was.
had his situation, which I don't even think we've gotten a final answer on what this situation is. It's like the oddest, weirdest, like totally Sixers thing happening there. Um, but when Kelly Oubre comes back, now that Nicholas Batum has worked his way into the starting rotation, are you moving Kelly Oubre back to the bench
Yep.
where he belongs? And is he, as Mista says, we need that one more certified scorer? He could fill that role off the bench because that's what I expected when we brought him in to begin with, right?
Yep. And I think that's the plan. I think Batum is going to stay in the starting lineup.
Mhm.
Kelly Oubre will be the sixth man, and his six-man campaign will be back on and running. I think that's what's going to happen. Earlier in the season, it worked with PJ Tucker. And I still think at the end of the games, depending on the matchup, depending on how well one of the two are playing, I think you'll see obviously into the games, Maxi, Tobias, and Embiid out there, and then you'll see out of the other two, you'll see Batum, Melton, or Oubre. But I think that's when we'll see at the end of the line, end of the game line, depending on how well Batum or Oubre is playing. But he'll come off the bench for sure, and like you said, they'll have somebody to go on because in the beginning of the season, that those lineups were pretty solid, and I think Oubre was a part of those lineups. So once he went down,
Yeah.
and
I mean, it
B
made him.
plus
Yeah.
Beverly plus Springer plus
Well, okay, so all right, and so that actually leads me. That's a good segue to the next thought process because I'm sitting here thinking, like, this might be one of the deepest Sixers teams I've ever seen because you never know who's coming off the bench on a given night, whether
right.
Roko's going to play 20 minutes or Morris is going to play or not. Pat Beverly had a really big game against the Lakers the other night. Um, you just know there's so many. We're literally a 12-man deep rotation. But are we? But are we really? Like, should it be tightened up? But like, I remember Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse is known for playing his starters big minutes and having a very tight rotation. But on any given night, based off of matchups, based off of who's hot, Springer might play 20, he might play 2. Korkmaz has played 10, 15 a couple times, and then not at all. Like, there's no there's no consistency with that
Yeah.
rotation. Is that good or bad?
See, I don't know, and I'm going to tell you why. From a player standpoint, no, because you don't know what to
Yeah.
expect every night. Marcus Morris has said himself, like it's been weird being in this role, right? Guy who's been a starter his entire career, now coming off the bench playing spot minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it depends. Now, for a guy like Springer, who's like just wants to be in whatever minutes he gets, he's going to take advantage of.
Right.
But I think it's also good because it just shows that he's willing to adjust, right? Like if Korkmaz is in the game and he's not affecting the game on offense because that's where he needs to affect the game at with quick shooting. If he's not doing
You mean
that,
you
he
mean he's
can't
not a
play.
good? You mean Korkmaz is not a good defender?
No. So I saw one time, I don't know who they played, but Korkmaz got the first half minutes. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, yeah, he's not seeing the floor in the second half. And they replaced him
Yep.
with somebody else in the second half. And we haven't seen Korkmaz since, except for garbage time. But I think it was actually against the Celtics. And I look at it and say, like, hey, like, at least we're so used to a coach last year or the last couple years just sticking with the rotation, sticking with the guns, not really making any adjustments throughout the game. Where Nurse, although it could be a pain for the players,
Mhm.
he's saying, okay, I'm willing to make, or I have my top 7 or whatever the case may be. But after that, I'm willing to make adjustments depending on the matchup, depending on who's playing well. If we need athleticism, I'm bringing in Springer
Right.
and defense. If we need some more shooting, I'm bringing in Morris because he's been shooting a little better. Like, it just depends on what's going on. Beverly, sometimes he plays a lot of minutes, sometimes he doesn't. If Beverly's not causing havoc, what is he doing out there? So it's
Right.
like, it's one of those things where it'll be interesting to see. But I think he's going to continue this until honestly a consolidation trade happens, and then he doesn't even have these decisions to play all these
Okay.
different guys.
Gotcha. It's a thing. I think we've even talked about it on this show on one of your previous appearances. It was like last year. Like I always loved last year the Daniel House story. Like he was
Mhm.
in the rotation, then he got benched, but he kept himself ready. 2 months later, when Doc called his number, he was ready. Korkmaz, on the other hand, always looked like he was sulking at the end of the bench. Once he left the rotation, we never saw him again. With this current Nick Nurse way of doing things, everybody has to be ready
Gotta
at
be
every moment because you never know. It's like being a bullpen guy in baseball. You don't know when that phone rings whose name's going to be called. Like
right.
you never know when Nick Nurse looks down at his bench and is like, "Yo, you're in." Um,
How
but
about how about this though? How about this? And the one thing I say, they played Atlanta a couple weeks ago on a Friday night. Jay Springer goes in for the end of the third quarter, the last 2 minutes. They give him a boost defensively, while I think it was him and Melton on the court.
Mhm.
He played so well. Instead of going back to his original rotation, which calls for him to bring somebody else in the lineup, he went with Jayden Springer to close that game with the starters.
Yeah,
And that's the type of stuff we're going to see going forward.
and that's the thing. Like it's if you were doing this under Doc, the point I was getting with it is that Nick Nurse has already changed the culture here. Where somebody like Korkmaz last year would sulk when he wasn't getting the minutes.
Mhm.
This year, Korkmaz, I've seen many a times Korkmaz not get into a game, but he's sitting 2 spots away from Nick Nurse and the coaches. He's physically, mentally bought into whatever it takes for this team. How difficult has it been? Like I've never seen Nick Nurse or a coach change a culture as quickly as Nick Nurse has with this Sixers team.
Yeah, I think one, they say he's a madman, right? So I think I think when you have that, that thing going for you, people think that's who you are. I think people already expect the unexpected. His coaching schemes have shown throughout the years that he does weird and crazy things. And I think the team expects that. And I think he's had conversations with you guys. Listen, there are going to be some nights you play, there's going to be some nights you don't play. There might be a 2 week stretch where you're playing 20 minutes, and then another 2 weeks you're playing no minutes, right? Like, I think it is what it is. And I think it just goes on to the coach. Like, I'm waiting for them to do the Joel Embiid and Paul Reed lineup. Like, we're going to see that randomly one
We heard
day.
about that all off season. We have not seen it yet. Like I'm just waiting for it. What's Paul Reed taking? Like 3 3-pointers. I've seen him make one so far this year.
Yeah.
Still looks ugly, but supposedly it's coming.
Yeah. So I'm like, they could pull that out in a random game where we see 8 minutes of that and a team is not expecting it. And boom, we might not ever see it again until April. Like, so I was just like, you just never know with this guy, which is,
Like I mean, the culture. I mean, just think about it. Nick Nurse has already appeared on Paul Reed's podcast. He's already
yep,
appeared on Pat Beverly's podcast. I
yep,
might have missed some others. Doc Rivers wasn't going on players' podcasts last year. You know what I mean? Like Doc Rivers was like the angry dad or the angry grandpa. You know what I mean? On
for sure.
Thanksgiving dinner, Nick Nurse wants everybody to be together. He's built a team philosophy here, and it's something different. Like I know a lot of Sixers fans had bought out, like or checked out on this organization, but
Right.
Nick Nurse in a brief 15, 16, 17 games has turned the opinion of this organization around so quickly, and
And I,
it's good. It's good.
and I think it started early when he was hired. I think he made it a point to the guys that they targeted in free agency. I think they targeted them for a reason, right? Because they had some connection, or he felt like he could fit the system. And I think, just from what I hear, like when I'm down there at the stadium, like he just treats everybody so well, like the players, the organization, like he just treats it so well. He tries to do good vibes. Apparently, there's music all the time, everywhere. They even had a DJ travel with them to training camp. Like, just music, 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 creating a good vibe, good energy, and that's what he's been
It's
doing.
kind of very similar to Nick Sirianni in the way he runs the Eagles organization at this point. You know,
Yep, and
nobody's sitting on the edge of their seat or nervous or this or that. Everybody's, you
yep.
know, there to do a job, but also enjoy themselves and all. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a game that they're playing. We need to take our time with Kelly. Do we need to take our time with Kelly Oubre? I don't know. So
I
let's
think
get
he's
to
had
Kelly
enough
Oubre.
time.
Yeah, he's had enough time. We don't still know what happened with Kelly, so who the hell knows? All right, so we got New Orleans tonight. We got Boston. Then we get a little slightly easier stretch with a couple Washington and Detroit games and
Yeah.
whatnot. Um, where I mean, obviously it's in New Orleans tonight, so you're not going to be traveling down there to cover the game. I don't think PSN budget, has plane tickets in it yet for you.
Right.
Um, where are you now with this next couple games with New Orleans and Boston on the docket? How you feeling about the team going into these two games, and what should we be feeling as Sixers fans over the next couple days?
I think optimistic. I think New Orleans presents a challenge
Mhm.
um defensively for this team that they haven't faced yet. That
Mhm.
challenge is Zion.
I was just going to
He
say, as you're talking, I'm looking up Zion's stats for the season right now because
and
I don't even know
he
how he's doing yet this year.
he's had a rough start, but
Okay.
Zion was killing the Sixers last year because
Mhm.
nobody can guard him. They had
Mhm.
PJ Tucker guarding him, doing pick and rolls, getting Embiid in foul trouble. It's going to be very interesting to see how they play Zion. But
Who do the Sixers put on him tonight? Is it going to be Tobias? Is it going to be
I don't know.
Batum? I mean,
I
they're the
don't.
two first names I think of, but
Yeah, but
they're
then
tough matchups for both of them.
yeah, I don't know. Do you put Tobias on him and risk him getting in foul trouble early? I don't know. I think they'll try to do Batum starting off, and then go from there. And then I think you will see some zone from the Sixers tonight. Specifically, I mean, CJ McCollum is coming back from a collapsed lung, but I don't expect him to play many minutes, like
Okay.
maybe 20 minutes, right? 20, 25 minutes. So
Mhm.
shooting wise, I mean, you have Brandon Ingram still, but they're not the best shooting team. So I think you'll see some zone, but I do think the Sixers should be able to pull it out. And then for Boston, I just think I'm optimistic. They played well one game, played bad one game, and should have still won the game. But it's just, to me, you know, Derek White. I know you say Jason Tatum, you say Jalen Brown,
Right.
everything, but Derek White has been killing the Sixers this year. He's had his best 2 games against the Sixers. Last game that they played, he had 12 points in the fourth quarter, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Like,
Mhm.
controlled the whole fourth quarter. They need to make sure that they keep the guys they've been keeping under check, which is they've been playing Tatum well. But other than that, they got to keep those ancillary guys, in check as well. I do think that it'll be a close game. I don't know who's going to win, but let's just hope that Horford is, in the tomb by then. I don't know. That
I mean,
guy.
is there? I mean, I don't know. I'm an old guy, man. I've been watching basketball since I don't know. I mean, I remember when Charles Barkley was still a Sixer. Okay, we'll just date myself there. I don't think there's been an opposing player hate it more in Philadelphia basketball wise than Al Horford, man.
Bro.
Like every time I see him touch the ball, I just want to scream. But like I don't go to many sporting events, but I would go just to boo Al Horford. I don't know. He's got to be top 5 most hated Philly opponents of all time.
He was a sleeper agent. I still can't believe
Gotta be.
he was a Sixer and played as bad as he did. I don't know.
Zach
Yes.
chiming in. Zach came on for the basketball content this morning. Look, Justin, I appreciate your time this
Thank
morning.
you.
You and Zach had a great episode. I caught the first 15, 20 minutes of your show last night at work. And if you guys aren't following Justin and Zach's work on the Sixers, again, it's another reason to hit the like, subscribe, and follow button right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Justin's killing it covering the Sixers down there at the stadium with his writing and the podcast and stuff like that. We'll do it again next week again, and it's a really weird schedule. I was just looking at the schedule after Friday's game. We don't have a game till next Wednesday again. 2 games,
Well,
and
they
then
they were waiting for the play-in tournament quarterfinal stuff to happen. So now that that's good, Sixers didn't make it to the knockout round. They'll be
okay.
playing Washington and Atlanta next week.
Okay, so
So
there's
they,
yeah, but there's still
yeah,
a big stretch with quite a
yeah,
few days with no games mixed in there, which is weird.
yeah,
I'm so glad I don't have to see all right. So on TV, I let you go with this
yeah,
comment here.
yeah.
On TV, the play-in tournament courts have been so hard to watch. Is it as hard to see it in person as it
They're
is on
they're
TV?
tough. They're
Yeah.
tough.
Like, I can't imagine being a player, let alone a reporter or anything else down there, staring at those courts.
They're
Like, my
tough.
eyes hurt on my TV. I backed my chair away from my TV because it was hurting my eyes so much.
They're tough. They're
Yeah,
tough. They're tough to deal with.
They dropped the ball there big time. Again, everybody make sure you shoot Justin Crosby a follow. Make sure you check out their podcast right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. And next week, we'll be back talking more Sixers with Justin Crosby. Our regular segment, not Thanksgiving holidays over. We're back
Yes.
to a regular schedule here with Justin. Justin, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, that was Justin Crosby right there on the I Have No Sponsor hotline. Lots of comments there in the comment section. I'll try to find a few to hit up here as we get ready to wrap this show up here in the next 5 minutes. Al Horford gets on my nerves. I wish would dunk on him like shit. Dude, let me tell you something. I'm gonna run a poll on Twitter, and I'm gonna do it. I need some more names to add to the poll, but Al Horford might be one of, if not the most least liked athletes to ever play for Philadelphia, ever to be against Philadelphia. I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody. My guess is if I run this poll with Al Horford's name in it, Al Horford wins this poll. It'll be something to discuss tomorrow. Wizards are a dumpster fire. Absolutely. They're in tank mode, Eric, the Wizards for sure. Great show. Thank you very much. Even a 49ers fan can say this Philadelphia podcast or Philadelphia morning YouTube show is good. I love it. See, that's what we're all about here. Everybody's included in the conversation here on Trending the AM. Always, always. Ben Simmons has got to be on the poll. That Ben Simmons, though, it's a different reason. Ben Simmons, like than Al Horford. I don't know. Ben Simmons is hated because he got. It's. I don't even know how to. Me and Zach are gonna have to have a conversation about how to phrase this poll question because I think this is interesting. It is. Who's more hated, Al Horford or Ben Simmons? But if I do just basketball, I could put those two names. Maybe Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz would not win the poll. He would barely get any votes. I think Markelle Fultz has some sympathy now going around this city. Andrew Bynum, hate it. I'm trying to think back into the earlier days when I was a youngin, watching basketball, who was hated more in Sixers basketball lore. I'd want to put Carson Wentz on that list. James Harden would get a lot of votes as well. But man, I want Al Horford to win this poll. So I got to pick hated players that, maybe I'll make it like free. Well, James Harden was traded. He wasn't a free agent. I don't know. I got to figure out how to put this poll question together. But Al Horford has got to be one of the most hated people of all time. The in-season tournament looked like the back of the old checkerboards. Absolutely. It was bad. It was really ugly. Really pathetic, honestly. They dropped the ball with this whole in-season tournament, Eric, obviously. No one's interested in all. I saw a lot of Eagles comments here. We'll get back on the Eagles conversation tomorrow, as well as eventually this poll somehow. I got to figure this poll out somehow. But I guess it's time to wrap the show up here today. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network again. You can follow me and find me on all social media platforms at Beard and Knowledge. We got one more comment coming in here. Everything about Horford annoys me. Maybe he's not most hated, most annoying athlete to ever play in Philadelphia. I don't even like the way he walks in his lame buzz cut with the mustache. Dude, the thing that annoys me the most about him is when he claps. He makes a mistake. Darn. He's got the old shucks darn hand slap clap when he makes a mistake. Every time he missed a 3-point shot in Philly, darn. Like, you throw his sister on top of it and how obnoxious she is. Like, there's a different level of hate between Ben Simmons and Al Horford. There's different reasons behind it. A more hateable personality. Maybe that's what I'm looking at. I don't know. Al Horford, man, one of the most frustrating people to ever lace it up in Philadelphia for sure. The oh shucks. Yeah, the oh shucks. Darn it, I missed again. Better luck next time. Like, I hated it. Hated it. Have a good one, Core 12. That's right. Another great day from the Core 12. We got 24 likes on YouTube, guys. 5 on Facebook. Not good enough. Hit that like button. Even if you're watching on replay, hit that like button. Ooh, Colangelo. It's got to be on that list. Colangelo's got a hateable face as well, Eric, for sure. Yeah, I don't even know. Maybe I have to do like a top 10 list of most hated Sixers people of all time. and put Al Horford number 1 on the list just to maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll do a top 10 most hated Sixers of all time instead of a poll. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting topic. We're going to wrap it up right there, guys. Everybody have a great day. I gave you 2 likes with my burner account. Hey, I love it. Gotta have a burner. Who doesn't have a burner account or a back? I don't like to use the word burner account. I don't want to be Brian Colangelo. I just got backup accounts. That's all it is. Backup accounts. Everybody have a great Wednesday. Cold as hell out there again. Again, check out Edge of Philly Sports. I'll be live tonight at 8:30 with Big Al, and I think Sean Brace from 102.5 The Gambler is going to be on the show as well tonight. You know, having Sean wasn't good enough for Al tonight, so he had to add me to the show as well because Sean Brace just isn't quite on my level anymore, and you can tell him that. Everybody have a great Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow or later tonight on Edge of Philly. Everybody have a great night, great day. Stay bundled up. Why? Is my thermostat set to 72 in the summertime with the air conditioner, but 62 in the wintertime? Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm cold. I hate the cold. Warm me up. Hurts, Maxey, Hinkie, and Embiid. Is that the most beloved list? I don't know. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network. Go Birds.